Hey guys, today I want to talk about a game I just finished called F.I.S.T. or Forged in Shadow Torch. So this was a Chinese game developed almost like over 7 years. I think it started in 2016 and it came out in 2023. So that's actually a really long time to be in development, but it's a really good game. I just beat it. I actually 100%ed it, got all the achievements, all the collectibles. It's a 2D adventure game. That's what I try to say instead of Metroidvania, which I hate saying, but a 2D adventure game, but that gives you an idea of what it is. And it's just really good. And if you've seen it, the whole premise is that basically it's you play as a rabbit. You're basically an anthropomorph. Well, they're not really anthro because it really is just like a rabbit who walks upright, and they wear clothes and stuff. Except for like the cat girl, who seems to be like more humanified, more anthro in the face. But aside from that, they're all just basically like animals, just furries. I don't know what else to say. It who just live in this dystopian kind of Hong Kong. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of Midgar from Final Fantasy VII. This kind of Asian English mix, like a Hong Kong city. It's a mega city and it's kind of dystopian, whatever. And so the basic plot of the game is that you're this soldier guy. Wow, this sounds a lot like Final Fantasy. And you're an ex-soldier guy, and basically your old, wartime friend is now on the other side of this oppressive society. You come out of retirement to help your friend who's been kidnapped, and then there's like a special secret stone that you have to get, which has been blocked off, or which is the Empire or whoever are trying to basically get. And so you kind of join the resistance, and you basically go after these guys. And of course it's called Fist because the rabbit has a giant mechanism attached to his back, which is a giant fist. And it's kind of cool how they do it though, because they show it in the flashbacks that during the war they actually had full mechs. And basically when they don't have the funding and the part of the resistance, his engineer buddy, this giant bear called Urso, basically just takes the fist part of the mech and just like swaps it on his back. So I don't know. There's it's a lot of very creative, interesting choices done in this game. The first thing that I think struck me is the voice acting is really good, and the cutscene animations are surprisingly bad and very choppy, and the audio for the cutscenes is just not good. Which is it's very strange because everything else in this game is super, super polished. But you'll notice in the cutscenes, like sometimes, of course, their mouths are going to sync up because it's a Chinese-English dub. But even things like, people falling onto floors or people getting hit, there's just a very weak sound effect or no sound effect at all. It's very strange. And again, the cutscenes are just kind of janky. But again, everything else is fine. The first thing I have to say about this game is that the movement feels incredible. And once you unlock the dash ability and the double jump, this game, I felt like this game was almost made to be sped run or speed ran. Speed ran. I don't know what the post tense of that is anyway. But you can just go so fast and it feels really good. Even when you're just doing basic navigation, they have like a rumble when you do the double jump, you're jumping off a wall. When you do the dash, they have a nice little audio cue for when your dash is recharged. I never felt like I got super stuck anywhere. It's just a really good game. Well, how's combat? Combat is also really fun, also really good. You do unlock combos and stuff and special moves as you go along, but not too many that it feels overwhelming. You kind of know, oh yeah, this one weapon has this specific combo, and on that point, there's only 3 weapons really, and they kind of function a little bit like the beams in Metroid Prime. Really corruption because they're the main things that allow you to access new locations. It's not like a typical Metroid game where you have 20 different upgrades for one specific thing. It's like once you get the blue thing, you can open the blue doors. Once you get the red thing, you can open the red doors. And then everything else, they're all like little smaller kind of like upgrades where your dash can now like go through enemies and stuff like that. And so that's how you get to very specific puzzles or whatever. Another great thing about this game that I do have to say that is an issue in other Metroid, Castlevania style games is that the map is fantastic. In the sense that if you come across a thing and you can't, like a chest you can't open or a certain collectible, it will mark it on the map. So you can always remember exactly where it is. Another very smart thing that they did is they show you the exploration percentage in each area. So if you're like, oh, did I actually find everything in this area? It'll show you like a little, 90% for the sewers or whatever. And in fact, there's a side quest where there's a guy who's a cartographer, and every time you get 100% in an area, he'll give you the OST for that area to play on the in-game audio thing, which is a vinyl record player, which is just, I love that stuff. It's so cool to have an in-game explanation for why you can listen to the music or you can do options or whatever. Again, and the main menu too reminds me of like the Fallout wrist thing, because that's basically, it's the same thing basically. So it's a wrist computer that you use as the main menu. There's a lot of things in this game where I'm like, oh yeah, that reminds me of that and that and that. And the last time I felt that was with something like No More Heroes, where it's like, hey, you have the Zelda heart upgrade things, you have like the super mode from other action video games. There were so many things that went into No More Heroes that made me think, oh yeah, this is borrowing things, really good things, really smart things from other genres and franchises, but it's also doing its own thing with all of them and making its own thing. And I got the same feeling here with F.I.S.T. Again, really, really fun game. So again, with that percentage sign and like really looking carefully, it's not too easy, but it's not, too hard, where you see, oh yeah, I missed, there's a little black spot around this room, that's probably a secret entrance, that's probably where I have to go. So it's very much a game where it entices you to explore everything. It makes it very easy. There are a lot of collectibles. You have to collect a bunch of plant seeds because it's in a super mechanized world, so you have to collect plant seeds for this one scientist guy. Of course, you can you can upgrade your sub-weapons actually. So the sub-weapon system is that you have 4 things that are actually accessed by the right stick, which is kind of weird, and then you press R to deploy them. And they're things like parry, a dummy, a gun, and you can upgrade those through a bunch of side quests. The world's really interesting. You have, again, a lot of the characters either have Chinese or English names. They'll have appropriate things where, you have a bunch of like a Western theme kind of area where it's kind of all snowy. So you have a bunch of bison and moose in that area. And then in the city near the sewers, you have a rat gang basically. And you have all these, they're kind of dressed up in these kind of Cockney or low-class British kind of outfits, and they hang out by the subway station and stuff like that. And then you have the oppressive regime are all mechanized dogs. So it's one thing that I wish was a bit different about this game. I wish they actually went into the lore a little bit more, because it's like there's these iron dogs, and that's what they're called and literally what they are, that have taken over the city, and everything's become mechanized or whatever, and they call the citizens Fertizans, the non-mechanized citizens. And I think there's some slogan of the resistance, like "for real forever" or something. It's super silly, but it's never really explained how the world got industrialized, how it got hyper mechanized, who are the Iron Dogs, who created them, why is there a rivalry between the mechanized ones and the non ones. It doesn't go into any of that. It just assumes whatever, it's just there. But yeah, yeah, still, what else can I say about it? Yeah, there's a lot of really cool combos you can do. There's this one side quest where you have like your martial arts master, where you have to basically pass his challenges, which are honestly way too freaking hard. You have another side thing where you need to eat this guy's, noodles, and then he'll make better noodles that gives you extra health. Lots of collectibles that increase basically your health, your special move power, and your sub weapon uses. But yeah, and goes, yeah. But yeah, it's one of these games where it was on Game Pass. I had no idea what it was. I was playing like 20 other different demos, and I was kind of doing each one for like, I always give it like half an hour to an hour max on demos, or like even things on Game Pass, saying like, is this actually worth playing? And this is one of the few games where I was playing it and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. It's like I might actually have to buy this, until I realized, oh wait, this is a Game Pass game, not a demo, which means I already owned the full version. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna just play all of it. So that's the kind of game it is. It really just kind of presents it like, hey, here's a bunch of Hong Kong Chinese free like universe thing that are fighting against the mechanized oppression or whatever. And you're a rabbit with a giant fist, and you just go. And the presentation, the atmosphere is really nice, really fun. OST is pretty great too. Yeah, it's just like the rabbit punching game. Like I don't know what else to say. It's good and it's fun, and I mean that's the thing. I have not played a game in a while where I can just say, yeah, it was just fun. It was just good, and you should try it. And there's other things too, like collectibles for cosmetics and stuff like that. But yeah, not much else to say on it, except it's a good game, and you should go and play it. So it gets my recommendation. Check out F.I.S.T, and I'm really interested to see what this studio does next. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.